Another loaded show coming your way on today's San Francisco 49ers report. As every day, we're always talking Niners here on the program. And today's episode is presented by PrizePicks. My name is Chase Sr. Thanks for being here with me. Brandon Aiyuk does it again. George Kittle is a hero and a great husband. And former Niner Donte Whitner, a three-time Pro Bowl safety for San Francisco, and current safety Ji'Ayir Brown are beefing after Ji'Ayir called Whitner and Whitner aired out what Ji'Ayir said. There's a lot to get to with that. Before we do all of that, continue to hang out here with us. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Tomorrow on Thursday is the 2026 NFL schedule release. We're going to be the first channel that covers the Niners to have the full Niners schedule posted right here on the program. So when you hit that bell icon and you hit all, as far as your notifications go, anytime we go live, anytime we publish a video like this, you'll get notified. And as you can see, we're 31 people away from 196,000 subscribers. All right, let's begin here with topic number one. Current and still 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk is back in the news. And I was putting together this timeline for the show. And the Aiyuk Niners timeline, going through it year by year with some of the recent happenings, makes this situation even crazier and harder to believe. In 2023, Aiyuk solidified himself as one of the best wide receivers in football at a position that is chock full of fantastic players at that spot all across the league. He was an all-pro. Going into 2024, Aiyuk, with 1 year left on his rookie contract, was looking for a big contract extension to make him a top 10 highest paid wide receiver in football. So he holds out for a new deal. The contract back and forth gets a little bit messy. Despite Aiyuk going about this in a very immature way, the Niners still pay Aiyuk, and they still make him a top 10 highest paid wide receiver in football with a 4-year, $120 million contract worth $76 million in guaranteed money. Aiyuk gets a bag. As we know, he loves his money, and Aiyuk is still miserable despite getting paid. During the 2024 season, bad body language, bad play. He was out of shape because of the holdout, and then against Kansas City in October, tears up his knee. In 2025, during his rehabilitation process, remember when the Niners tried to lie to us and say, Aiyuk's been in the wide receiver room. He's been helping to coach up his fellow counterparts at the wide receiver spot. BS. Barely showed up to rehab or team stuff. And so the Niners get fed up. Why are you not rehabbing at the facility? And they void $27 million in guaranteed money, something in that neighborhood. Aiyuk gets fed up with that. He's unhappy with the Niners still. And now this intensifies the disdain that he has for the organization. So Aiyuk disappears. He's gone AWOL since. Now he's in the witness protection program. And anytime that we see him or hear from him, it's on social media. What's pretty wild about this is that Aiyuk disappeared. The Niners voided the guarantees in his contract. He didn't even fight it with the NFL Players Association. So he pretty much willingly, by not fighting it, forked over all that money. Now, the 49ers are playing hardball. You don't want to report to the team. You don't want to respond to us at all. You want to disappear. It's been the worst kept secret that you want to go to Washington. We're going to refuse to release you because we don't have to. And we're not going to let you just walk to play with Jane Daniels and the Commanders. Photos start to surface this offseason of Aiyuk not looking to be in a great headspace. I hope everything is okay, but he's been looking out of weight. We're not sure if he wants to play football any longer. And so this messy divorce continues, and it has shown no signs of resolving. Niners wanted a draft pick back during the NFL draft. Nobody offered the Niners a draft pick for a player who didn't play in 2025. We don't know if he wants to play football, and nobody wants to take on that contract for a malcontent. Well, we heard from Brandon Aiyuk again. He forked over all that money, and he continues to flaunt his cash. Car purchases, private jets. Look, if you got it, you can flaunt it. But I'm starting to get a little bit worried about Aiyuk. This is the only thing that he does on social media. No workouts, no family photos. It's just him flexing his cash. You think that is a good look for other teams who might want to trade for you or sign you? Does it look like you want to play professional football? And the caption is, bitch, I'm back to balling. And he's just spreading out a bunch of dollar bills. Look, I love having money. I work hard so that I can provide for myself. I don't blame Aiyuk for working hard to secure that contract. But the way that he's handled it since getting paid is immature, it's reckless, and frankly, it's weak. Now, will Brandon Aiyuk play football again? Type P for play, W for won't, or B for he's going to go broke. Join the conversation. Let me know down in the comment section right now. Coming up next, George Kittle is a hero. The people's tight end, but a hero as well. And then Donte Whitner and Ji'Ayir Brown beefing right now. First, the 49ers report is presented by PrizePicks. Right now, when you play your first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly in lineups. When you use our code HMA, you just got to download the PrizePicks app right now. That link is available in the description of today's 49ers report. What is PrizePicks? It is the most elite and number one played daily fantasy sports app in North America. That's why more than 20 million people have signed up. They've submitted a lineup, and that's why billions of dollars have been paid out in winnings to users out there. You can become a new user right now, and when you do that, you play that first $5 lineup, you get $50 instantly. You could submit player picks, choose more or less on 2 to 6 player stats for a season or for a game. You can make team picks, pick winners, spreads, and totals. Here is a 6x multiplier to win $120. NBA playoff action tonight. Donovan Mitchell, more on 8.5 field goals made. Evan Mobley, more on 3.5 assists. And then Jalen Duren, less than 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. Big game 5 between the Cavs and the Pistons. That series is locked up at 2-2. Pick more, pick less, pick PrizePicks. It's always good to be right. All right. Did you know that George Kittle is not only the best tight end in the NFL, he's not only the best tight end in the history of the Niners organization, he's not only the people's tight end, he is also a hero and a great husband to his lovely wife, Claire. Here's what happened last night, overnight, according to Kittle. At 4 a.m. this morning, as I laid in a deep slumber, I was called to action by my wife, who had discovered a spider the size of a $50 bill in the bathroom. Without hesitation, I arose to combat the intruder. Claire handed me the slant board I've been using for rehab, and I immediately knew the spider had no chance. It took but one attempt to strike down my opponent. I received hugs and kisses for my bravery and fell back asleep with confidence. Have a day, gentlemen. Gentlemen, if your wife asks you as you are passed out sleeping to kill a spider in the middle of the night, happy wife, happy life. This is how you have to spring into action, and this is how you have to execute right there. The people's tight end, a great husband, and a hero. I was in Costa Rica for a few days, from Wednesday to Monday. You could see the tan working here. No big deal. I was hanging out with Scarlet McCalls and monkeys, hitting the beach. At one point at night, I went onto the balcony, overlooking the ocean, hearing the silent waves, the jungle, bunch of different sounds around me. I saw a tarantula-looking spider on the floor. No panic. Got a broom, and instead of killing it, I just sweeped it off the balcony into the jungle so it could continue its life. And hopefully it doesn't harm anybody, and it didn't harm me. All right, last topic here on the show. We can have some fun here on the program. This is a pretty entertaining beef right now going on between former Niner Pro Bowl safety Donte Whitner and current safety Ji'Ayir Brown. And here's how we got to this point. So Whitner and Patrick Willis have a podcast called The Grit Code, and I actually think that Whitner does a terrific job. In a day and age in media where former players and athletes are too scared to criticize current athletes and be honest because they want to continue to be friendly and have those relationships, Whitner is honest. He calls it like he sees it. He studies the tape. And when he's wrong, he's willing to eat the crow and take accountability for whenever he's wrong. did that with DeJon Stribling and that pick for San Francisco when he originally criticized it after the draft and then warmed up to it after watching the tape. And so here's what happened, according to Whitner. Ji'Ayir effing Brown called me, he said, on the phone, trying to check me, telling me I can't talk bad about him when he has a bad play. He called me and Richard Sherman on the phone saying he used to respect us and that we're not keeping it G because we told the truth about his deficiencies. Ain't that some BS? You effing know that you played like shit last year. And this has taken off amidst 49ers Twitter. And where it kind of raises my attention levels a little bit is Whitner continued and he asked Ji'Ayir Brown, I'm a 3-time Pro Bowler. I know how to play the safety spot. Given my accolades, he was also a top 10 pick out of Ohio State by the Buffalo Bills, a bust, then went to the Niners and developed into a good player. But because he was a Pro Bowler, he's an expert at the craft. So Whitner asked Ji'Ayir, do you think you played well in 2025? Do you think you played like a Pro Bowler this past season? And Ji'Ayir Brown said, yeah, I do think that I played at a Pro Bowl level. And some people have said that Donte Whitner shouldn't have gone public with the private call from Ji'Ayir Brown. I have no issue with what Whitner did. Is what he said wrong? No. If he's speaking the truth, what is the problem with that? If Ji'Ayir Brown played at a great level and Whitner went off and said similar things about him, then I would take issue with it. But the last 2 years, Ji'Ayir Brown, as a former third-round pick, has played like one of the worst starting safeties in the National Football League. The numbers back that up, and the tape backs that up. So what Whitner is trying to do is get through to Ji'Ayir. Prior to last year, Ji'Ayir was delusional and said he thinks he's one of the best safeties in the National Football League. In Ji'Ayir's defense, has it helped him that he went from Steve Wilks to Nick Sorensen to Robert Saleh, 3 DCs in 3 years? Probably not. But is it Ji'Ayir Brown's fault that he has lapses in coverage, misses tackles, has blown assignments, and has played poorly, and there's a reason why his snaps decreased last year? I'll give him credit. When he stepped in for Talanoa Hufanga his rookie year, he played very well. Talked about that here on the show. He intercepted Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl. But the last 2 seasons, he has not played well. And what Whitner is trying to do is say, bro, you got to be open to criticism because that's the only way to improve. And if you are going to continue to be delusional here and not be open to coaching, you're never going to improve upon your weaknesses. And you're never going to live up to the expectations of being a third-round pick. So if Ji'Ayir Brown believes that he is a Pro Bowler, he is absolutely delusional. And another thing that's concerning, if Ji'Ayir isn't open to coaching, that's an eye-opener. Final year of his contract, he better be open to coaching because he has to get better. He's not played well. And due to some of the backlash that Whitner was getting for going public with the private phone call from Ji'Ayir, here's what he said. Why I disclosed our conversation. We're not friends. Don't call my phone in a checkful manner like you're trying to press me, then expect privacy. You wanted the smoke, the content comes with it. Have no issues with what Whitner had to say there. Do you have an issue with what Whitner did? Some people have said, Whitner, don't you want to be asked by the Niners to be around the team like a Patrick Willis? What does that do for Donte Whitner? Like, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler with the Niners. Now he hosts a podcast, and he's really good at it. This makes for good content. And what's wrong with being honest? Not enough people today are willing to be honest and tell people the blunt truth.